What's like the craziest way God used you for someone else's life?
Uh, I think there's a lot of examples of this happening, but I think
Mhm.
the craziest has got to be. I was still in college. This is before
Uh-huh.
I I turned my life around back to Jesus.
Okay.
Uh, I was working on a project for
Mm.
one of my classes, and it was going absolutely terrible. Uh, I the Dropbox for it was a video project.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah, yeah.
Dropbox for it closed at midnight, and it was like 11:45, and I'm rendering the file to upload it,
Yeah.
and I've been using the software to edit things for 5 years at this point. I was going to before I decided to go into psychology. I was going into film, so
Mhm.
I had like a good bit of experience with editing,
Yeah.
and I had never gotten this error before. What
Mm.
this error did, it not only wouldn't render the file, it also erased everything. So I had to start from scratch all over again
Wow.
with 15 minutes to go, and it wasn't done in time. The Dropbox closed, and I had to finish it, uh,
Uh-huh.
and I had to wait for the large file to upload to Outlook and finally send it. I was probably like 2 or 3 a.m., but I had never gotten that error message before in my life, and I'm like,
Mm.
what the heck? And so I went to go to sleep, and I could not sleep because I was so worried about like me because this project was worth like I want to say 40% of my grade, and
Mm.
so I'm like, if I don't, if I fail this project, I'm failing the class. I was up worried about it, and then
Uh-huh.
I got a text, and it was like it was from a friend of mine who I lost connection with years prior.
Yeah.
Like we talked generally, but we weren't like consistently like we used to be best friends. We weren't
Mhm.
at that point anymore. We we had a bit of a falling out, and
Mhm.
the text was suicidal in nature, and it was very uh, vague, and uh, I I took the phone and I couldn't get into contact with my friend, so I had to go through other channels to find out where he was,
Mhm.
and something tragic had happened in his life, and he felt he had no one there for him,
Mhm.
and he had full intention of taking his life that night. And I remember I drove to where he was. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and I stayed with him until like the night was through.
Mm.
And to God's grace and God's glory, that was a friendship restored.
Yeah.
And thank God that he's still around
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
But I saw that moment, and I'm like, it's also inspired me to get back into my because it was the same semester that I had that class,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, it got the gears in my head turning. I'm like, wow, this is really like a bunch of things had to happen for this very
Yeah.
thing to happen for me to be awake to even see the message, and
Mhm.
uh, that started me back down my path even further. But I
Yeah.
would say that was the craziest way of how I was using someone else's life.
That's good.